Ahoy to all muggers and Laserforce players in the Czech Republic. This is a testing episode in English. I'm Lucy, with me is here.
Guy next door, hello.
And I'm currently sitting over in Auckland, New Zealand. It's crazy on the other side of the world. And it's great to have next to me this guy.
It's nice to have you in the country.
I hope I'm not like too, how to say it, too crazy for you.
Nah, not at all. Nah, you fit right in, which is perfect.
So, Steve,
Yeah.
tell me something about you.
Hi, my name is Steve. My codename is Guy Next Door. I've been playing Laserforce competitively since 2003.
Ooh.
I think I joined in the year 2000 when it must have been like 3 or 4 months after our centre opened. It took me a few years after I had initially joined to start playing competitively, but once I did, loved it, fell in love with the game. So, outside of lasers, I play a little bit of disc golf. Recently found a love for disc golf.
Yeah, we had a bunch of good time.
Yeah. I mean, we played a lot of disc golf during this week, or during the Nats week, which was pretty really cool. But yeah, I don't know what else you kind of want to know. Do you want to know my shoe size?
No. Except for playing Laserforce, you also have a Twitch channel and a podcast channel.
Yeah, so we've got a Twitch channel which we do our live podcast called The Resupply Podcast, which is twitch.tv/The Resupply.
Give them a follow!
You smash that like button. So we started that channel during the pandemic. Prior to that, we were doing an audio podcast, much like yourself, and we started our podcast off the basis that most Laserforce players that I know, after we do like a members night or a night that we go and play, we usually spend like another half an hour to an hour to sometimes longer hanging around outside of laser tag, talking about laser tag, talking about how the night went, talking about previous nats that we've played, just talking about Laserforce in general. And I think it was in 2017, maybe earlier, I can't remember. It was just before the last Sacramento Nats. Me and Than were talking. We were like, what if we do, what if we have those chats, but we do it as a podcast? And so yeah, the Resupply Podcast was born, where we very highly unprofessional, but we give our own kind of our own take on Laserforce, and most of the time specifically Space Marines 5, because that's the competition game that we play down here. But yeah, it started as a podcast, and then during the pandemic, we a friend of mine, known to some people in the community, his name's Blueson. He started really like streaming hard out on Twitch, and it inspired me to want to make the switch from just an audio podcast to something a little more visual, and a little more interactive. People were looking for ways to be social during lockdown, and we found that giving people somewhere to talk about Laserforce when they couldn't play it was actually really awesome. So that's why we made the switch to Twitch, and we've sort of been going strong ever since.
Nice. And thanks to you, I also started my quote-unquote podcast.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which, like, brings you all the news that happened, or the news about the events and leagues and tournaments that happened back there in Czech Republic.
That's
in
awesome.
the month. Yeah, thanks to Stallion, basically.
Yeah. Shout out Stallion.
Thanks, Stallion.
He got in contact. We were doing the show, and he said, "Hey, do you guys have a Twitter account?" And I said, "I don't use Twitter. I don't know how to use Twitter." And he's like, "All right, I'll
Tell me about it.
set one up for you." And obviously, you know, he set one up, and then you found us through one of his posts, and I guess the rest is kind of history.
But yeah, during the time I've been following you, which is like now 3 years, I think so. I've been guest on your podcast for 3 times already, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
And it's such an honor to speak about our community, even though we're like little tiny country with 10 arenas.
Yeah. I mean, our you know, you've been here a little while now, and our country isn't much bigger, especially population-wise. It's what we've got. I think 5 million.
We have
here.
10 million.
Yeah. You double us.
But you're big and we're like tiny.
Oh, spread like landmass. Yeah, like it's all pretty spread out. But yeah, little country to little country. It's good. And obviously, thank you for letting me come and speak on your pod, and give the Magors a shout out.
I'm so thank you that you were actually like able to do it, because I've been thinking about it for like half a year now.
Right.
But due to time zones, which is still crazy.
Yeah.
It wasn't like easy to do it.
You might have one of the worst time zones for
thank
New
you.
Zealand.
I know. -10 currently, and it will be -12 soon-ish.
Yuck.
So I'm here on the other side of the world because of one reason, and that is Laserforce Internationals. And I had a blast.
Awesome.
It was incredible experience. It was something new. I got my ass kicked, to be honest, because man, resets and your rules.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it.
Well, we talked about it, I think during the week, where, you know, it's almost a rite of passage to get your ass whipped, at least for your first tournament.
Oh, yeah.
I think I didn't win a game for the first 3 nets I played. I think we got 0 pointed in all of them, I'm pretty sure. At least for the first 2, and then in our third tournament in 2006, that was when we started winning games, which was great. But prior to then, you know, we had talented teams, talented players, but you know, Nats is a different beast, especially when you're playing against, you know, quality opponents like, you know, Brisbane are obviously always awesome.
Oh yeah, I think I heard it like on the second day that this is like the gathering of the world's best laser tag players, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here?
I mean, you held your own like towards the end, and you know you obviously like it was a very easy progression to see, which was awesome. It was good because it's not easy stepping into a environment where you're not familiar with the rules, you're not familiar with even the game settings.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, the obviously resets you're still getting used to. And so it is hard. It's hard to change. Well, I mean, I can only imagine. I've experienced it a little bit in 2010. I went and played in a tournament in 2010, and they played completely different rules to what we were used to. And it was frustrating, really, really frustrating.
Yeah, that's how I felt for the first few days.
Yeah. I mean, even we played a members night last night, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And there was plenty of F-bombs being dropped by Lucy.
Yeah, I know.
But that's okay. That's all right.
It was because I got stuck in a loop and being like missed out for 3 minutes straight. It was crazy.
That was
Shadows.
Was it Shadows?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's always going to happen. It happens to everyone, I think.
Next time I will be swearing in Czech so you won't understand me.
Nah, that's all right. I can tell the scream. It's haunting.
Or how you were scared from me screaming.
Oh yeah, it was it's
when someone
terrifying.
was attacking.
I thought you like the first time I heard it. I thought like because there wasn't many times where we played against each other during the week for Nats.
We did, but my team wasn't that communicative.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like I didn't get the opportunity to hear your terrifying scream. It was definitely more noticeable at members' night. And I thought that like you'd fallen down something or like someone had run into you. Yeah, but no, you just yelling.
If this happened, I'm usually like mute. If I like fall down or if someone ran to me, I'm mute.
All right.
So silence is the one you would be terrified of.
You go silent, be worried.
But yeah, me screaming like this is like when someone is attacking us or it's like attacking the base or something like that.
Yeah.
Get used to. Okay, so Nets in general, how do you feel?
I think the week was really good. I personally had a mixed bag, sort of a mixture of good and bad. The first day we were still trying to figure out our combinations.
Oh yeah.
By day 2, I had kind of made some decisions around what I wanted out of my team, and being captain, I was able to make some of those tough calls. One of which was putting myself in the heavy role, which is my preferred role. We got another couple of great heavy players, in our team, and so I was like, well, what's the best kind of combination that's going to work? And me playing heavy, I think, was the best combination.
You smashed it.
I tried. But I unfortunately got quite sick on the last day, and so finals was a real struggle. I managed to play our first match, but by the end of that match, my body was just destroyed. So unfortunately, we got beat out in the semi-finals, in the playoff for third, and the loser of that semi was going to be third, and the winner would go on to the finals. So yeah, unfortunately, we came third. My goal was to place top 3 this year, so
accomplished.
Yeah, I hit one of my goals. But the ultimate goal was to win. I think if I had been healthier, we could have pushed the Brisbane team a little more than we did. Because we had come very, very close during the week. And the same with the USA West Coast team. Not to take anything away from either of those two teams, because they are great teams. I just felt disappointed in myself that I couldn't overcome the sickness, which isn't the first time this has happened to me during a Nats.
I heard about it.
Yeah. It sucks, but when you look forward to something for almost 4 years, then you kind of fail because of something out of your control. It's it's hard, and I think as a result of the sickness, I actually missed out on the awards dinner, which was disappointing. But
you missed DK calling me the Queen of Cardio.
I did miss it, but I heard about it. I think the tournament itself was well received by everyone, or almost everyone. There were a couple of things here and there that could have been done better, but overall I think everyone's experience was really positive. And yeah, I think most people came away thinking, that was a good Nats. That was one of the better Nats. So that was another goal that I had, was to make sure that at the end of our tournament, people were positive. People were, walking away from the week saying, I can't wait for the next tournament. So, yeah, that was definitely another goal that was ticked, which was good.
It was incredible, really incredible. So many ups and downs, to be honest. But I discovered the true nature of some people.
Yeah.
And I can confirm that the Laserforce Whānau are the really best people in the world.
Well, we have our our issues.
We have that too.
I think, and I assume it's the same in the Czech Republic, where playing this game is one of the only times in maybe a lot of our lives where we can be the most competitive version of ourselves. And not a lot of people get to experience that. I think when unless you play competitive sports, which, not a lot of adults do, unless they are athletes. But yeah, for being able to actually compete at something at an extremely high level, it's a really unique experience. And it shows you kind of who you are as a person under maybe in stressful situations or competitive situations. It's definitely a challenge, which is adds a lot of value to my life anyway. And I assume that it's the same for most competitive tag players.
I really liked how people supported each other. Especially us when we grabbed that sweet win.
Oh yeah.
Everyone was like, whoa!
I think everyone there, with the exception of the Auckland B team.
Oh yeah.
But everyone else was maybe even them, but I think nobody wanted to see you guys go winless. And so to grab that win in the last game of round play was awesome. I was watching, I can't remember if I was watching on stream or not, but I was watching the scoreboard and we all got goosebumps. It was awesome.
That game was incredible.
Yeah. Really, really cool. It was cool to watch.
Also, the random drafts afterwards, they were funny as well. Like me surviving with only one life.
Yeah.
And no other teammates.
Yeah. That's laser tag.
That's Space Marines.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm used to surviving like the only player with our best players in Gladiator.
Right.
But this is something different.
Yeah. Well, team game, you had 6 guns all trying to get you, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of cardio in the past weeks. But everyone was surprised me to do it so.
Yeah.
Oh my. And how about the shenanigans after?
Yeah, so overall the week was awesome. We went and we went to a place called Rotorua, which is part of the North Island, but about 3 hours drive from Auckland, down country. And man, we did so many things, but because I was still recovering from my sickness, unfortunately, again, I missed out on a lot of the activities. I really wanted to do the rafting.
That was awesome.
I turned up that morning because I wanted to get some GoPro footage. I think whoever it was forgot to take the GoPro with. So
Woody.
Yeah, that's right. So I jumped in the car and came down, and I initially was like, oh, maybe I won't go.
It was too cold.
Yeah,
it would be worse.
I was still recovering.
I mean, the water was warm.
Yeah.
But the air was
not that warm. Yeah.
But the air was 5 degrees or something like that.
Yeah. So I got in the car, came down, and by the time I got there and saw everyone in the wetsuits, and I was real tempted to jump in the boat as well, but made the adult decision not to do that because I think I would have regretted it during the week.
Oh yeah.
but yeah, it was a really, really cool holiday. I think getting to know your peers, like your laser tag peers, away from laser tag is really important. I talk about it quite a bit whenever I speak about Nats. The laser tag is obviously awesome. It's the reason why we gather, but for a lot of us, it's become kind of secondary to seeing, all of our friends that we don't get to see all the time. And there's not a lot of times where either during a tournament or after a tournament, people make the effort to hang out with each other. So I really wanted to organize something where we had a purpose to kind of hang out and experience some of New Zealand and get to know each other more and for me, like, hang out with friends that I've now been friends with since my first Nats 20 years ago.
Wow.
And these friendships that have developed over that time. So
and you became our chief.
Yeah. That was really special for me, being Maori myself. It was really special to be able to share some of my culture with you guys.
The Maori experience was incredible.
Yeah, it was a great night.
I wanted to cry so bad, but I haven't. My will was too strong. But it was incredible seeing it in real life.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
Experience it.
Yeah.
And yes, as you said, all the people. That was my main reason to come here.
Mm-hmm.
To finally see you all in person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it become the laser tag is great, but it becomes secondary to seeing old and new friends. Because they're the ones that kind of enrich your life. So yeah.
And I hope they will continue that.
Oh yeah. It's an interesting like fraternity kind of thing where you could go to a different country. Let's say, for example, you could come to New Zealand from somewhere in Europe, I don't know, and already have a community of people, there to kind of show you around and help you get to know your surroundings better, and not have to do that by yourself. So
yeah, I'm so grateful for that.
I don't know anyone who would do that.
No. Maybe some Magor.
Yeah, some Magor.
Yeah. I must say that I'm having the time of my life.
Good.
And I haven't regretted the decision to pack my bag for 2.5 years and just go.
Not yet, anyway. No. Where'd you get to Brisbane?
Yes, but I'm still here.
I'm
living in the moment.
Yeah, I would, soak up as much as you can here while you're here, because, I don't know, I've been to a few places around. I haven't been to, like, heaps and heaps, but I've been to a few places around the world, and New Zealand is always home for me, but it's always a very special place for me. So yeah, that I think that's what made traveling with everyone else after Nats so special, because you get the opportunity to show people how special your home country is. So yeah,
and even meeting some kind of Czech originated people while you're stepping up to a gondola. That was funny.
Oh yeah, that was so random. I have for when I was cutting, so I cut a video together of like the after Nats hangs, and there's a video of us all getting into the gondola in Rotorua at the Skyline. And that's where we met Frank, I think his name was, right?
Yeah, Franciszek in Czech.
And he saw your
badge.
I find the video somewhere, but he saw your badge and he made a beeline to you. And he, because you were not expecting it.
Yeah.
like I managed. There was a freeze frame of your face as he was like, as he was like trying to get your attention, and you were just like, "Who the heck is this? Get away from me!" But yeah, when he was like, "Is that a Czech flag? Is that a Czech flag?"
Oh yeah. And then he spoke to me in Czech. Hey, what's your name?
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, the freeze frame of your face is really funny.
Yeah, that's life. Oh, but yeah, the skyline, that was amazing. I mean, everyone was calling me crazy, so my god again.
What did you have any particular highlight? Like what was the best thing that you did, or was it all just kind of awesome?
In the skyline, or like
Just the whole trip.
Maori.
The Mitai village.
Oh yeah, that was very special.
Yeah.
And disc golf as well.
Disc golf was cool.
Even me sucking at disc golf.
Nah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fun.
And the Black Sand Beach.
Oh yeah.
That was very strong emotional moment.
Yeah, we went to out to a beach called Muriwai. It was me, you, and Disco Stu. And it was kind of the last kind of group activity for Nats, I guess. Even though it was just the three of us. It was the last three travelers, and we had a like classic fish and chips on the beach at sunset kind of moment. It was really cool, really cool. Very very nice moment.
I heard you were like not expecting, but you were talking about the possibility of moving Nats to Europe.
Yeah, so it's something that that we as a community down here have kind of thought about, because we haven't played our version of Space Marines 5 in Europe yet. There is a scene in the UK that play Space Marines 5. I think Marcus was trying to kick one off in Germany.
Yeah.
But we play with our community. We have Australia, New Zealand, and the United States all playing under the same rule set. I'd really love to do a Space Marines 5 tournament, some sort of tournament in Europe somewhere, whether that's in the Czech Republic, if that's in Germany, if it's in the UK. It would be pretty cool. But I think in order to make it happen, we would likely need to play the game mode that our scene is used to, which might, I think it might put a little bit of I don't know how many of the European sites would be keen to do that, because obviously we play very different now. But in saying that, the US had their own rule set until 2010. 2010 was the last Nats that they played with the quote unquote American rule set, and after that, most of the sites said that they would prefer to play by what is now known as the international rule set. We've played different combinations of our kind of rule set, and it is the opinion of our scene that the way we play now is the best form of Space Marine 5. But it is a very different form. Obviously, you not being used to resets is a big one.
Yeah.
Not being used to having to show a shoulder, I guess that's another big one. Those are probably the two big ones.
Yeah.
It is a little bit strange to me that resets have been taken out of the Czech game, because it is one of the things that makes Laserforce unique to the other tag systems. So to take it out of the game is a little bit counterintuitive to me.
But trust me, if we had it in like our tournaments or in general in play, I'm not sure if our scene will be alive now.
It's just a matter of getting used to it. It takes it kind of elevates the different kind of skills you need to be able to play the game. So, you know, you have to be aware of, okay, if I'm shot, where do I go now? You know, or if I shoot someone, I need to be aware enough of my surroundings where I know where to get a reset. You know, I need to know, okay, well, I just shot that person. I remember seeing 2 other people over here. If I shot that person, I can maybe run and get those people and then run back and get that person. So it creates a whole new richness to the game rather than, oh, I got shot, I'll just go stand over here until I come back online. You don't have to think about your movement as much. And I think, you know, obviously I'm used to resets, so it's easy for me to want to play with them, but I think it really adds a whole new depth to laser tag when you have to think about moves and counter moves. It's almost like chess versus checkers, you know, like you have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be aware of what other people are doing through the maze. You have to be aware of your movements through the maze. How far is too far to run away? How far is not far enough to run away? You know, all this sort of stuff. So it's harder, but if you can master that skill, then yeah, it's for the betterment, I think.
I now see why you play with resets, and yes, I totally agree with that. But still, in some game modes, such as Color Conquest, I hate it. I hate it.
It's the best. It makes the game so much harder.
Yes.
Which, if you can master that makes you a better player. You know what I mean? It's like a whole new level to the game. So, you know, actually, so for me, like playing a Color Conquest, initially didn't think much of the game, but after playing it a few times, the goals change. So if you don't want to get converted, and with resets on, that's much harder. It's much more challenging. And so if you can go a whole game without getting converted, then you know, that is a much richer achievement, if that makes sense, in my opinion. Yeah.
I mean, I have like a story with that, with our Color Conquest, which is being converted like 46 seconds before the end, and therefore a legend was born. That's why I'm called 46 seconds by now.
So, wait, it was 46 seconds left in the game and you got converted?
Yeah.
Alright. Have you ever gone a game without getting converted?
Yes.
Nice.
It was tough, but yes.
Yeah. It's the way to do it.
Actually, I completed it, but the achievements were turned off. That was the first time, and I was like, "What? No!"
That's right. You got what, 2 months to work on it here?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get some. I managed to do it on Tuesday night when
you do it yesterday.
Played. Yesterday, yeah. And when you achieve it, like it actually feels good. You know, it gives you other things to kind of focus on. We with our scenes, because we play so much Space Marines 5, that's our main competition game. All the other games that we play, or at least in my mind, we play those games to learn how to play Space Marines 5 better. So, you know, not being converted in a Color Conquest teaches you game management, it teaches you lives management, it teaches you accuracy, it teaches you how not to get reset. All the stuff that you can translate across to Space Marines 5.
Yeah, and Shadows teach you how to rocket people.
Yeah, Shadows teaches you how to missile. Dead Aim teaches you accuracy. The weird nuke game that we played last night teaches you how to nuke.
I still call it level up with nukes.
Right. I can't remember what.
Nuke Master.
Nuke Master. I mean, I had not played that game before. It was fun. It was fun.
But I think it was basically level up with nukes.
Yeah. Yeah, but every time you play laser tag, it's an opportunity for you to learn something new or work on a skill that you can translate into whatever form of competitive game you play at your site.
And that's why I went here, because I want to grab all the knowledge I got here and share it with my scene.
Yeah.
So you can come.
Well, hopefully you can terrorize everyone in the Czech Republic with resets when you get home.
I think the most difficult thing will be get them used to resets.
Yep.
Show a shoulder.
Yeah.
And then the following rule.
Well, I think all that stuff is like is nice, especially if we look to come over. Like it, but I don't know. I think the main thing, the main implementation that the Czech Republic should implement is resets, because it's like I said, it's one of the things that separates Laserforce from all other systems. So if you take it away, you might as well just go play Megazone or Laser Strike or whatever. But having Force and celebrating the differences that come with playing Force, I think is important. But what do I know?
Maybe at some sites, we'll see.
Yeah.
I kind of have agreement with the Stardom site that if I translate the rules properly, they will start learning that.
So, yeah, again, I would say, like, that's awesome. I would say that the thing to focus on first is the resets. And then once people get used to that, then maybe the shielding rule. But the shielding rule only really matters if you're going to play Space Marines 5 as part of a global community. So that's kind of the goal, I guess, the long-term goal for our community here on this side of the world is being able to have a global rule standard. But that one's probably going to be a little bit difficult, just because it is so fundamentally different from what a lot of sites play. I know in the UK they are dead against our rule set, or at least there's a couple players who are kind of the main organizers in the UK that are dead against our rule set, and I understand why, because it's a lot different than what they used to, and whenever you try and learn a new skill set, you basically start from level
ground,
1,
yeah. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
5 years of tagging and now, you're a little baby.
Yeah, now I'm back to square one again. But because it's not quite that, because you have a fundamental understanding of how to play laser tag, which is why you weren't completely lost when you played in Nats, yeah, that's what you lean on when you learn a new skill. But it's scary for some people. They don't want to do that.
The good thing I found about, like, me being aware of my yellow cards was that every time I received a yellow card, I knew what it was for. Because I immediately, like, let's say I forgot to show shoulder. I guess I was penalized. I was like, oh yeah, hey, I'm sorry, I'm aware of that because, yeah.
And so back in the day with penalties, penalties used to be a massive deal. You used to lose 1,000 points every time you got a penalties, and 1,000 points is game changing. It can be game ruining. We've changed the way our rule system works, so you get a yellow card and it kind of breaks your momentum for the game, but it doesn't ruin your score and it doesn't ruin your whole game. So
if you don't cancel nuke someone to someone.
did
I think that happened actually.
What happened?
the referee canceled someone's nuke.
For this tournament?
I think it happened.
Surely not. That's a pretty bad one.
I heard something about that.
I don't recall. I didn't hear, but could have happened. You know, it happens. It shouldn't happen, but it does. Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything you want to say to my scene back in Czech Republic?
Ahoy, Magors. Hopefully one day we'll get to play together. Maybe if we come there, or if people branch out and come stay with you down here over the next 2 years.
Actually, I got a message from Stuart saying that he gathered 5 people and they are keen to come here next year.
Ooh.
But I was like, next Nats won't be here.
No, next Nats will be somewhere in America, I think. We try and alternate it between the northern and southern hemispheres. So the next Nats will probably be somewhere in the States, and the one after that will probably be somewhere in Australia.
So 2025.
Potentially, unless next year we end up coming to Europe, but
no, I'm here. No, not until 2027.
We'll see. I'll be long retired then, but we'll see. We'll see how we go.
I mean, I'm not sure if everyone wants to take the 24 hours on the way, so I struggle with that.
Oh yeah, it's a tough journey. Being in transit for like almost 40 hours is brutal. But yeah.
It was worth it, to be honest. Yeah.
Definitely. It always is.
Even though you feel like complete numb thing after you land, it's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are young enough. Maybe not Stuart. No.
He is young.
Is he?
I think he's like 28.
Who am I thinking of? Who's the guy with the long hair?
Tremon.
He's
Martin.
young.
Yeah,
young enough.
The main head of Magors.
Yes.
Along with Stuart.
Yes.
Okay, so I won't be torturing you enough more. I think 40 minutes is enough.
I could talk about laser tag, all day, every day.
Maybe part 2.
Yeah, part 2, maybe. We can. If we want to do another one at some point before you leave, then we could definitely do that.
Yay. Okay, so thank you again for being my guest in this experiment.
You're welcome.
I hope that I will be able to do some more once I'm over in Brisbane, because there are so many players to talk with.
Oh, for sure.
And yeah, I hope you understood, you majority. If not, I don't want to make subtitles. No. But there's gonna be someone who can translate this for you.
Amazing.
I hope so. Okay. Thank you again.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
And ahoy Magors.
Ahoy Magors.